Hello everyone, I'm here ready to try my cuts on this Cison V8 carb mount. And this is my homemade CNC router I made. It is servo controlled, so you can see the servo motors there and there up above. I picked servo motors. They're a lot faster at moving around and stronger while you move and cut, so rather than steppers. Anyway, and here's the little controller running there. This is Mach 2. I've had this for a long time. ArtSoft makes multiple versions. He's gone from Mach 2, Mach 3, Mach 4. But I haven't upgraded it. It works. I just didn't want to mess around with, trying to redo the software and everything. So let me catch you up to date here on my little part. I have had to do some rethinking on it because once I cut, what I decided was I have to drill the holes on here as well, because I can't drill the holes first. I was thinking to drill the holes first and then use the holes to mount it down, but I can't guarantee I'm going to get it lined up right, perfectly horizontal and vertical. So, because it's going to come around and machine, the tangs, and I think that they just wouldn't be lined up nice. So I wanted to do the tangs and the drilling all on while it's already mounted. So in order to do that, I decided the only way I could really mount this was with a screw down through the middle, just like that. And then I will, screw it down to this wooden sacrificial platform I have. And so in order to do that, I thought, okay, well, I can still use the cone. I machined a different cone so it could hit on this bigger diameter that I had to bore, and it does. It sits right up there nice onto the thing. The other problem was once I put it down and pin it there, I have to lift the thing back up to put it, and it's probably going to move. So I think that I will use, for now, a little bit of double sticky tape just to kind of hold it there until I can get the screw mounted down through the middle. All right, so I'm going to be doing that, and I will bring you back then when I'm ready to set the router up. Okay, I am back with it mounted down in there. I don't know if you can see the screw. It doesn't look like it. I got the part in the way, or the router in the way right now. But I thought I'd show you how I did this. I had to first home. Let's come over to the computer. Okay, so there's the home button. So once I got the servos charged up and holding, then I said home, and the machine homes to these little homing switches I've got right there, and right there, and there's one up here on the Z. So it all homed, so it knew where the machine home was. So then I needed to do what's called a coordinate offset. I needed to tell it where I'm going to machine with a new coordinate system of X and Y right here. And so I had to move it to the position I wanted just by using the arrow keys down here. I can move X and Y, and page up, page down is Z. So I went over to the offset window here, and once I had it on where I wanted it, I said touch and touch, and it zeroed the main X and Y over here. So that's a different coordinate system, but it's actually on a G54. Now, just to show you, I'm right where I needed to be with 0, 0 on the X and the Y. I'll go back to run, and let's move it down with the page down here. And that's moving pretty fast. So I need to come over here and set the jog speed. Where are we? Here we are. Need to set that to, let's put it to a 2. That's pretty small. There. So now when I push page down, it's gonna just creep down here. And you can see the cone is coming right in fine to this. There. So if I look at it here, wow, it's hard to get in here with the router in the way, but you can see it is lined up fine here and over here. So that is the X and the Y right there. It's already zeroed out. So let's bring it back up. All right, I'm gonna speed it up here by picking back to 50, there, and then you can see how much faster that moves. Okay, so now I'll have to set up to do the Z depth at 0. And remember I said it was at the bottom of the part, right at really the surface of the white. But I can't get the router down that far, so I have a little block here that I know is 4 inches high. And that's what I'll bring, when I take the tool out here, that's what I'll bring the router down to, just touching that. Then I know whatever the number is I have here, I'm actually 4 inches higher than what I need to be, so I can do the math over there and zero it. Okay, I'll bring you back when I get that. All right, I have now taken the pointer tool out and I've moved the router down till the router mounting flange is touching here. This is where all my tools screw to and are indicated from. So I've just touched it. I can't move up and down, and there's a little friction when I rotate it. So I know I'm right on top of it there. And so I have over here in the Z, it says -4 point, after I had to push the touch button, and it says -4.7375. So I have to then add or subtract, basically make a bigger negative number, another 4 inches from that. So that will be -8.7375. Let's try that. -8.7375 and enter. And once I hit enter over here in the Z, it just said +4. So that was perfect. That's it thinks I touched at that, and then I've got +4, which is I'm 4 inches high. So now we have the Z axis zeroed out to the new coordinate system. Okay, so I just raised the router up, and I put this drill chuck with the proper drill that I need. I'm going to do the drill function first so I get the 4 holes, because I have a couple of little screws that I'm going to put into the part after I get it, to help keep the part from turning when I do the routered shape. But I haven't tightened anything. As you can see, it just slides in the router holder, in the tool holder here, because I haven't tightened it. But what I'm trying to do is set this right on the table, and now I'm going to tighten it there, and then I will tell the machine over here with this Z offset. First I'll put it on tool 15, which I can do. Tool number 15, enter. Okay, and then when I do this, I'll touch there, and it tells me the offset for the tool is 5.4 something. So that's going to record that. And as you can see, the Z now, because I've got tool 15, it says it's zeroed. So I'm going to now tighten everything up, and we'll see how it works. Okay. All right, I'm back, and I had a lot of problems here to explain. I've had to not use that chuck in there. I don't know whether or not the bearings are given out on this router, but when I turned it on at 10,000 RPM and that long, heavy chuck was in there, it started vibrating so bad. It was shaking the whole table, and I shut the spindle off, and no matter what I tried, I could not get that to work. So I think it was either, like I said, the bearings are wearing out. This router motor is quite old. I've had the mill or this router for a long time. Anyway, I decided to just cut a chunk of aluminum, 1/2 inch, because that's what the size of my collets are, is holding 1/2 inch for that. And I pressed in the drill that I need. I didn't put a set screw in it. I'm gonna see if I can just go down with the feed really slow as I drill. The friction of it is pretty good, but I don't know if it's enough. Anyway, we'll give it a try. So I'm back here. I've loaded the G-code program for the drill, and it's got tool 15 still sitting in there, and I had to redo the Z offset for the tool because I have a different thing holding it, but I think I got it. So when I push the cycle start right here, the machine should home itself, and then I'll have to hit cycle start again, and then the router will come on, and I'm gonna be ready with this reset button here, because you just never know. You never know when you're making a code what it's gonna do, or if I've forgotten something. So this is kind of like the emergency stop. I have the feed rate down to 20%, so it ought to move pretty slow. That way I got a chance to hit the reset button. Well, here it goes. Now it's going to rehome itself. All right, so that's pretty good. All right, I have the new program loaded now, and I have the tool number 5, the 1/4 inch cutter, put into it. Since then, I've also put some screws down there to make sure it doesn't rotate when we cut. The screw heads might be big. We'll see. The cutter might cut them, but we'll see. Okay, here we go. Cycle start. Goes back. Go. Okay, going back home and finished. All right. Well, we'll take it off of there and we'll get a little closer look at it and see how it looks. Okay, so here is the part. Didn't come out too bad at all. It's not a bad surface finish everywhere. Boy, if this phone would focus. There we go. Chattered just a little bit in some places, and I told you that machine is not rigid. It was really meant to do wood, but it still works pretty good. It looks like it matches perfectly on the existing carburetor bolt pattern. And you can see over here, I will install it here when it's time. Yeah, it fits fine right on there. Anyway, what's left to do is I have to bore this inside diameter that matches the Perry carburetor's diameter so I can set it in there. I've got to add 2 set screws then from the side. And I noticed that the bottom of this has a little recess of the existing carburetor. So I'll just turn around one while it's in the lathe. And I'll still leave enough wall right there for the seal, for the seals to seal. So it'll just be a small diameter. I think that's there to help the air and fuel kind of have a little pocket to work in before it's drawn down through the four holes here. So, thank you for watching my CNC adventure. There'll be more to come. Thanks. Well, everybody, I'm back, and I have the model engine carburetor here attached. It's from Perry Aeromotive. It's meant for quite a pretty good size model engine, and so I've had it running a little bit, and I have turned down the I think this is the inlet for the fuel. I tipped it over to the negative side, and I think it's idling pretty good, but let's find out here. I don't want it to rev up the engine too much. When you have a brand new engine, even like a real one, you just never put the high RPMs on anything yet till it breaks in. So let's see how we're gonna get here. Well, that's not too bad. I'm quite happy with putting that carburetor on. I think it was a little easier to tune than the stock carburetor that came with it. Look at the different size of the openings here. The throat of this thing is a teeny little hole, and this thing's got a great big one here. Anyway, all right, that should be it on this motor, unless I can think of something to put it into. See you later.